What's up, everybody? Richard Jared, Cosmic Wonder, jumping on, giving the big what's up. Put a little, put some of those essential oils in there. Kill off the bad spirits. Anyway, hope everybody's doing amazing out there. It's an amazing time to be around. So let's give thanks and praises to the Most High. Jah! I'm a big Bob Marley fan, so I always like saying, Jah Rastafari. Y'all see that? Check it out. It's the universe. You know me, I always like jumping on, talking about amazing writers, awesome books. There's the other universe. Ancients knew it was one and the same. You really got to decode it, and that's what all the religious tax, all that shit, that's what they were talking about. But anyway, guys, I'm going to jump on, and we're going to start breaking it down. Talked about him many times before. You got to get familiar. Start digging in his works. This guy, he was the librarian of Congress. He was fired because he put out a detailed work on the Federal Reserve banking system. And they didn't like that shit. But this book's fucking awesome. Murder by Injection. Eustace Mullins. Fucking badass, guys. Breaks it down. Really breaks it down. And in it, it says that this present work resulted in 40 years of investigation. His previous books was exposing the international control of the monetary issuing, banking practices of the United States, later revealing the secret network of organizations that through which these alien forces yield political power, the secret communities, the foundations, the political parties, and their hidden plans, which are implemented. And we all know it now. So this was back in the day, man, and everybody called him crazy. And he's right on. So get Eustace Mullins. He's a real patriot. He was amazing. But in this work, he discovered that physicians, despite their great power, were themselves subjected to very strict controls over every aspect of their professional lives. The controls, surprisingly enough, yielded to any state, federal, almost every other aspect of American life. Now under absolute control of the bureaucracy, the physicians have their own autocracy, private trade association, the American Medical Association. This group, which headquartered in Chicago, Illinois, had gradually built up its power until it assumed total control over medical schools and the accreditation of the physicians. And he is, in his acknowledgments, he's grateful to the staff of the Library of Congress in Washington for their courtesy and cooperation and preparation of this work. And he starts out with the medical monopoly. It really shows you the history of, Rockefeller, the Carnegie Endowment, and the origins of the American Medical Association. What's interesting here, he gives a little thing of allopathy set up an intense rivalry with the prevalent 19th school of medicine, the practice of homeopathy. The school was the creation of a doctor named Christian Hanan, 1755 to 1843. It was based on his formula, Symbolus Criter, like cures. Homeopathy is even greater significance in our time because it works through the immune system using non-toxic doses of substance which are similar to the that is causing the illness. Even today, Queen Elizabeth is still treated by her personal homeopathic physician in Buckingham Palace. Yet in the United States, organized medicine continues to frantic drive and discredit and stamp out the practice of homeopathic medicine. Ironic, Dr. George Simmons, who dominated the American Medical Association in 1899 to 1924, building that organization into a national power, had for years run advertisements in Lincoln, Nebraska, where he practiced and proclaimed he was a homeopathic physician. Boom, guys. A lot of craziness. But the history of the American Medical Association, set up by business guys, not guys in the art of healing. And then he goes on into, the much touchier subjects, which I like to see a lot of people arguing on the internet about it. This one's a very interesting study, The Profits of Cancer. So in 400 BC, Hippocrates assigned the name of cancer to a crab, to a disease encountered during this time because of its crab-like spread throughout the body. Its Greek name was Carcinus. It was 164 AD. The physician Galen in Rome used the name of a tumor to describe the disease, from the Greek tibos, meaning a sepulchral mound, and the Latin tumor, to swell. The disease could not have been very prevalent and is not mentioned in the Bible, nor is included in the ancient medical books of China. The Yellow Emperor classic of eternal known, unknown to most traditional societies, that spread with the rise of Industrial Revolution. In 1830, cancer was responsible for 2% of the deaths around Paris. Cancer caused 4% of death in the United States in 1900. The rise of cancer came modern methods of coping with it. The leading critic of the medical establishment, Dr. Robert Medjosalon, comments that modern cancer surgery someday will be regarded with the same kind of horror that we now regard the use of leeches in George Washington's time. The surgery of which he spoke is the widely accepted and opposed method of cancer treatment now and throughout the United States. It is called cut, slash, and burn technique. The method of cancer treatment actually represents the high-water mark of the German allopathic school of medicine in the United States. It relies almost exclusively on surgery, bleeding, and heavy use of drugs, with the exotic addition of radium treatment. The temple of the modern method of cancer treatment in the United States is the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Institute in New York. Its high priests are the surgeons and researchers at the center. Originally known as the Memorial Hospital, this cancer establishment was presided over during and early years of the two physicians who were stereotypes of the Hollywood characters of the Mad Doctor. If Hollywood planned to make a movie about the hospital, they would be stymied about the fact that only the late Bela Lugosi would be appropriate to play not one, but each of these doctors. First of these mad doctors was Dr. Marion Sims of South Carolina. Sheriff and tavern owner Sims was a 19th century woman doctor. For years, he dabbled in experimental surgery by performing experiments on slave women in the South. According to the biographer, these operations were a little short of murderous. When plantation owners refused to allow him to conduct further experiments on their slaves, he was forced to purchase a 17-year-old slave girl for $500. Within a few months, he had performed some 30 operations on this unfortunate girl named Anarcha. Because there was no anesthesia at that time, he had asked two friends to hold Anarcha down while he performed his surgery. After one or two such experiences, they usually refused to have anything further to do with him. He continued to experiment on Anarcha for years. In 1853, he decided to move to New York. Whether his little Negro hospital in South Carolina was surrounded by screaming villagers one night as they brandished torches as in an old Frankenstein movie is not known. However, his decision to move seems to have come rather suddenly. Dr. Sims bought a house in Madison Avenue where he found support of the heiress of the Phelps Empire, and the family has continued to prominent supporters of the present cancer center. Yeah. Read. Murder by injection. Get it, guys. One love. Peace out.